much, Shay, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Shay, and today we are going to talk about SPFBO 9, wrap that up, and move on to my plans for SPFBOX. If you don't know what SPFBO is, it is a self-published fantasy blog off hosted by Mark Lawrence. This is where 300 self-published fantasy authors put their hat in the ring. 10 bloggers or book reviewers come together in 10 teams. They divide the books up into 10 teams, and then they are ranked. Every team puts out a list of semi-finalists, and they dwindle that down to a finalist till we get to 10 finalists, and then all the book reviewers read the 10 finalists and kind of rank them from there until we get a winner of the competition. So I have basically followed the competition a lot, but I have never actively participated or tried to read or keep up with the entrants. This year in SPFBO 9, I did do first chapter reads of all 300 entrants and enjoyed my time, and I did read all the finalists and rank all the finalists. So in this video, I'm going to talk about my rankings versus what the actual competition rankings were and what that means for me. Am I like the popular kids, or am I just different? So we'll dive right in to the way I rank the books, and I will talk about my plans for SPFBOX at the very end. My number 10 is going to be The Last Fang of God by Ryan Kirk. Now, this is a very, very short read, and for me, I like a little bit more meat. I like a little bit more pages. And so while I did like the character work in here of the dad character, I just couldn't get down with some of the world building and some of the fast growth of these characters because things were happening so fast because we had such a short amount of pages. But this is a great story about a father and daughter who the father has left his clan long ago and kept it secret from his daughter, and now his daughter has been called back to his homeland, and if she does not make it back there within a year, she will die. The problem is she doesn't know anything about it, and so her father wants to protect her at all costs. And again, nothing wrong with the writing style. It was just some of the decisions that the 16-year-old female daughter character made just didn't jive with me, but I do think that this is more for very newer to fantasy, very good introduction to fantasy if you're looking to get into the groove. Very fast-paced story. It may hook you. I do recommend this book for people who are just looking to get into fantasy. While I DNF'd it, the official competition, The Last Fang of God came in the 9th spot. Now, coming in at my number 9 is going to be Hills of Heather and Bone by K.E. Andrews. Now, I DNF'd this book, but I made it farther into this book than Last Fang of God. My problem with this one is I did not meet my personal tastes. I am not much of a cozy fantasy reader. Take that as you will. I didn't jive with Legends and Lattes. I didn't like it. While I really, really liked the elements of this, and sometimes cozy fantasy just kind of gets me off because I'm really into the fantastical elements of the story, and then we're kind of just moseying along trying to be more cozy. And while that's okay, but to me it loses a lot of stakes if you're trying to do high fantasy. This is following our married couple, and the wife has a magical ability that is banned, and so half the time they're on the run, but while they're on the run there's some cozy adventuring going on, and our main character does have disability representation. I do recommend this for people that like cozy. It just didn't kind of fit with me, which is very, very interesting because cozy is in, as we see, less epic fantasy novels being released and more cozy novels coming to the forefront, because Hills of Heather and Bone made it in 2nd place in the competition. So obviously a lot of people like this book. It just, again, is not the genre for me. Coming in at number 8 in my score is The Fall Is All There Is by C.M. Kaplan. This is a sci-fi fantasy mix mashup that starts out with our main character. We realize that he has multiple other siblings and his father has died, and so somebody needs an heir, so they come and whisk him away to try to see who's going to fight for heir, who's going to get the throne, and which side is he going to fall. And it had some very, very interesting world building elements to it. I personally didn't jive with it as much as I think other people would. I didn't like our main character that much, and so when you don't like the main character of a story, you can't really like it all that much. But this came in at number 8 for me in the competition with a rating of 6.5. In the SPFBO competitions we rate 1 through 10, so I would have given this a 6.5. And in the actual competition, this came in 3rd place with an average rating of 7.55. So as we see, I'm way off from what is popular, what the popular opinion is. Coming in at number 7 for me is A Rival Miss Vile by Miss R.K. Ashwick. This is a cute queer fantasy romance story that's following a potion maker, and unfortunately another potion maker moves in across the street. They're going to be enemies because he thinks he's going to take his business, and there's all kind of magical creatures in here, and it was just a great fun time. The only thing that got me about this is I'm more of a slow burn romance type girl, and this did not really fit that for me. And the enemies to lovers was not all there. So, but I overall do recommend this for fantasy romance fans. This came in at number 7 for me, and I would have given it a score of 7. In the official competition, this came in number 6 place with a average score of 7.2. Coming in at number 6 for me is The Wickwire Watch by Miss Jacqueline Hagan. I had a mixed bag with this particular story. I really loved the beginning. I really loved the ending. It was the middle that kind of meandered to me. We had very high epic fantasy in the beginning, very high epic fantasy in the end, and just a cozy story in the middle. So it was a genre mashup that didn't all the way work for me. Overall, I do want to continue on in the series, but we're basically following this pickpocket who is hired to investigate whether a murdered man in a village was a colonist, to get proof that he is a colonist. And while he is trying, we don't know what a colonist is, but while he is trying to prove this to a journalist, he comes across a magical pocket watch, and it goes from there. This is found family. It's everything you would probably want in a cozy fantasy story. If you are looking for a more cozy found family vibe, this may hit the spot for you. It overall came in my number 6 spot with an overall 7 rating, and in the official competition, it came in at number 7 with a 7.2 rating. Coming in at number 5 for me is going to be Daughter of the Beast by E.C. Greaves. Now, I liked this one. I didn't love it, but this is following our main character who basically gets taken when she's very young, and she is raised behind enemy lines. And what does that mean? And, you know, how does that change the way that she lives her life? And it goes on and tells her stories of adventure. And I overall did really like this book, and I'm interested in continuing on in the series. Overall, this book came in the 5th spot for me for a overall score of 7.5, and this came in the number 8th spot in the official competition with a total average score of 6.8. Coming in at my number 4 spot is Master of the Void by Wind Raven. I absolutely positively loved and adored this book. And this is following 2 main characters in a land where magic exists. Some people have it and some people don't. And our main characters are 2 sides of the track. One of them is basically nobility. He comes from a family that's very high class, and one of them is just your average farmer's boy. And maybe one of them has magic, maybe one of them doesn't. I don't know, maybe they both don't, but it's basically their adventures and their coming of age story. If you like a coming of age fantasy, this is a YA story, but I ate it up. I loved it. And so overall, this came in my number 4 spot with a score of 8. And this book right here, which I adored it completely. This came in 10th in the official competition with a score of 6.5. Coming at number 3 in the competition for me is going to be Cold West by Clayton Snyder. Now, when I originally read this short story novella, and I don't really get along with novellas, I rated this a 5 stars. I do still really love this story, but as I sit with it, it got down a little bit. I want to reread it. But I overall really enjoyed it. If you like weird, fantastical horror, this may be for you. I really loved the writing of this. Clayton Snyder has just some fantastic writing. It made me feel all kinds of things. The first chapter almost brought me to tears. Like, this is some fantastic writing. It follows our main character who in the first chapter is burying his wife, and he has promised his wife he's a bounty hunter, and he has promised his wife he will not take any more bounties. And so they've lived this farm life, and then after she dies, you know, he is financially strapped. He has kids he has to take care of, and they're gonna lose the farm. They don't have any money, and so he is offered a bounty and he takes it, and some crazy weird horror stuff takes place, and I could not love this story more. Overall, I gave it an 8. It came in 3rd in my opinion, and in the official competition it came in 5th with an average rating of 7.35. Coming in my number 2 spot, we have Murder at Spindle Manor by Morgan Stang. So this is a fantasy steampunk mystery kind of vibe. It gives me the kind of Clue vibe or Agatha Christie vibe. Just some old steampunky vibes where we have a monster hunter who is going to hunt a monster at this inn, and so you have this cast of characters and you are kind of dwindling them down of who could be the monster, who could be the killer. There's a dead body, who could be the killer. All kinds of creatures in here. I absolutely loved this story, and there is a second novel that I can't wait to read. It was all such good fun, and I gave this number 2 in my competition with a score of 8.5. Overall, this won SPFBO 9 with a score of 7.85. Yes, so this book is what won the competition, so I wasn't far off from my opinion there. Now, my number 1 of this competition is going to be The Last Ranger by J.D.L. Rosell. It's not any secret that I love J.D.L. Rosell's writing. I love him. I've read other series by him, but something about his writing, and I am an epic fantasy girly at heart. I'm a high fantasy girl. I like, give me all the magic, give me all the world building. I just eat that up, and this is what this is. And we are following our main character, who is a ranger of the Titan Wilds. She protects people from these beasts that are in this forest, and she protects people overall from this forest. And she comes back from a mission one day and finds that her camp and all her family and the people that she knew, the rangers that she trained with, are dead. And so this is her revenge story, and I could not have loved this more. And the growth of our main character and that growth arc was freaking fantastic, and I highly recommend this. And at the start of the competition, I did not own this one, but clearly you see that I bought it along with the second book in the series, and I can't wait to continue on. But this is number 1 in my eyes, and in the official competition it came in number 4 with an average rating of 7.55. I give this one a 9. Okay, so that's kind of my thoughts on SPFBO 9. Clearly I was off from the competition. I kind of strayed from my cozies, but I overall just enjoyed every single entry, and just kind of thinking how people's taste differed. I really learned a lot from the competition, and I really enjoyed my time. Now, SPFBOX was done a little bit differently. Instead of in the past years, it was 300 entrants who signed up first at a specific time. To make it more fair, the sign-up form was open for 24 hours, and then 300 picks were randomized from that draw, and 595 entrants actually entered. So this year we have the entrants that managed to get into SPFBOX. We call it SPFBOX because it's SPFBO 10 SPFBOX, and then there were 295 entrants that did not get into SPFBOX, and they're calling that SPF No. So all around, I feel like we have really good entrants. I do not think that this year I'm going to read all the first chapters of these books. I'm going to highlight some every month. I'm going to pick out books that may sound interesting to me. I'm going to read first chapters, and I'm going to highlight those on my channel. Maybe do a monthly video of the competition and the entrants that I personally jived with, first chapters that I jived with. Reading all 300 of them last year kind of burnt me out, and I don't want to do that. We'll probably do a monthly spotlight of just things that I was interested in that I read the first chapters of. Okay. I'm also interested in reading some of the SPF No entries. I'll be highlighting some of those as well throughout my channel. I am super stoked about this competition. Could not be happier to again try to participate in some way, give these self-published indie authors some love and some reviews. And I do plan on reading the 10 finalists again. That was so much fun last year to kind of just see where my tastes fell with everybody else's taste. I absolutely positively loved it. I loved giving these books a time and their time to shine, and I am looking forward to the competition. If you're participating in the competition, leave me a comment down below. Tell me all about your feelings on SPFBOX. Tell me if you've read any of the books in SPFBO 9, how you felt about them. Tell me if you plan on reading the SPFBOX. How do you plan on joining in on the SPFBOX fun? I am just so excited about the competition this year. I cannot contain myself. Alright guys, I'll catch you in the next one.